Hello and welcome to another episode of the Blood Brothers podcast. Tonight we are Seanless, I'm afraid, but we are Rob Fool. Does that work?
Yeah, let's just say that worked. Yeah, it was great. Yes, I'm here. I'm full of life. I'm full of everything. I'm so excited.
Lovely. Yeah, I'm excited too. This has been a long time coming,
It has.
because tonight we are joined by the wonderful Lauren North. Hello, Lauren.
Hello, guys. Thank you so much for having me on at last.
At last.
How are you tonight, Lauren? Are you okay?
Yes, I'm really well, thank you. Yes,
Good,
I have
good.
prepped everything for the kids. They're all sorted, and I've got a little glass of wine. So yes, I'm all in for Blood Brothers.
Oh, mega. Thank you so much for coming on tonight. And we're talking about your new book, because this is publication week for The Ugly Truth, isn't it?
Yes, and I'm feeling quite sick about the fact that it's publication week. I'm very nervous, but yes, fingers crossed it does all right.
Right. Well, can I? No, I'm just going to say it. This is an absolutely outstanding book. See, so you've got nothing to be nervous about. This is super. There's loads of stuff that I'm really interested to pick your brains about as well, about this book. But no, I just flipping loved it. It's brilliant and well flipping done. It's so good.
Thank you so much. It's been a little bit Marmite actually with some of the early reviews on NetGalley, but I am taking that to mean that it's a conversation starter, and that's definitely a good thing. So I'm every 1-star review to me is a 5-star review, because then it's just great, something to talk about.
And do you normally venture on the NetGalley to see?
No, I don't. As a normal rule, similar to Goodreads, I haven't looked for ages actually. But when your book first goes on there, you do kind of sort of check to see when the first reviews go on. And I was sort of checking a bit back and forth, but I haven't looked for a little while actually. And now that all the reviews are coming out on the blog tour, so that's really lovely. So to see.
Oh,
what about you guys? Are you NetGalley? Are you obsessive? Look over your reviews.
I can't remember really, because I can't remember when the last time I had something on NetGalley actually, because the last few books I've had have all been audio releases first, haven't they? So I can't actually remember. But I always like, to be honest, no, it's more a question of like, whose opinion do I really value, and what do they think about it? And obviously, I love if the barometer of the wider readership is happy. But like, if someone who I really like admire says, "Oh, I really enjoyed it," like then I'm more happy. You know, like I'm properly buzzing at that point.
Yeah, so, me too. Yeah. I mean, my favorite author of all time, Lisa Jewell, said The Ugly Truth is not to be missed. So yes, that's kind of like left me on the massive high for weeks.
It should. Could you, Chris? Sorry, what do you do with your reviews when it's first taking its tentative? I don't know what this hand signal is.
Yeah,
like. I don't know, like a little walk. Like that's the 3-legged walk. Sorry, right, it's already going off the rails.
Spider walk.
Yes, thank you.
I mean, when you first start off, I read everything. And the very first review I ever got was a 3-star review, and the person said straight away, I didn't realize it was in first person. That immediately put me off. I was like, great, first everything that anyone's ever written about it. So after that, I kind of stopped looking, unless someone tags me, and then I go and sort of have a little sneaky peek. Because I think if they tag you, it's going to be okay. Although not always, but from what I've seen. But yeah, for me, it's been okay. So yeah, it's it's a bit scary, isn't it?
I'm afraid I've had the reverse of that. I've been tagged into a negative review.
Have you?
Oh yeah, we all have, haven't we? Yeah. It's one of those
I loved
things.
It was great. Like I love the cojones on such a maneuver. Like that is a proper alpha maneuver.
I don't mind it. I just think everyone's got their own opinion.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, that's fine.
I love that attitude actually, that like, and especially with The Ugly Truth, you know, like we were talking about it being like Marmite, you said, wasn't it? You know, and that, you're so right. Like if it's got that kind of knee-jerk reaction, that gut reaction to it, that's a great thing. That means that you're tapping into something that, you know, like the last thing you want to be is meh, isn't it? You know,
yeah,
like,
that's true. Yeah, you want them to leave a review. Exactly. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And I think sometimes like 1 stars can be as much of a You know, for something that's divisive, it can be more good press than anything, I think. Actually.
Yeah, I'd often read a review and be like, oh, actually, that sounds like my cup of tea at that 1 star.
Yeah.
So happy about that.
Yeah. Could you tell us a little bit about The Ugly Truth, please?
Yes, I certainly can. So it is about Melanie Laing, who is Britain's most famous celebrity. She disappears from the public eye after her birthday celebrations end in chaos. And then 4 months later, secret videos emerge of Melanie claiming she's being held prisoner by her father, who is a billionaire business tycoon, Sir Peter Laing. But Sir Peter releases a statement saying, oh, no, she's absolutely fine. She's in a private medical health facility being well cared for. Just ignore her. And then it just creates this massive sort of interest from the media and the nation on, well, where is she and what's happened to her? And Netflix commissioned a documentary called The Ugly Truth of Melanie Laing, and it's about finding the truth. So the book opens with this idea that we don't actually hear from Melanie for about 3/4 of the way through. We just hear everyone else telling their story of the 20 years that Melanie has spent in the spotlight as both a model and then a businesswoman and just a celebrity in her own right. So it's told all through mixed media, through newspaper reports, Twitter, Netflix, and interviews, and then diary entries. So yeah, it sort of tells a story of a celebrity thrust into the spotlight at 15 and what's happened to her, and is she being held prisoner? Are we save Melanie, or is she being looked after, and are we help Peter?
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Well, I should say that I have a little cheat sheet here and with everything about what the book's about, so that when I do interviews, I can just like read off. I was trying not to look down on the bit of paper.
You didn't.
Just in case my mind goes blank. So I have everything written down. So.
Well, I think this is going to be one of the most topical, prescient reads of the year.
Oh,
because
thank you.
Well, you've taken aim at so many like very, very big on trend topics here, and you have bullseyed them. Like,
oh, thanks.
The stuff about the tabloid media, bullseye. Social media, bullseye. There's a lot of people that are going to read this and immediately relate and have opinions, which is, again, it's what you want. But the fact that you've done it with mixed media as well, I mean, there are a lot of important questions I want to ask about it, but there's also a sillier one. So we'll start there.
Okay.
I loved all the social media handles you came up for people on Twitter. So how did you go about this? Because you had to come up with so many. But like, let me find like a little bit. Oh no, there was where did I put the little thing? Yes, here we go. Right. So you're so right. Like, you've got people who write stuff like at Girl About Town blog, at Mummy Rules the Roost, at personal favorite Kimberly T. Filch. That is that's outstanding. So these, like, you've got it. You've absolutely nailed it. You know, like the absolute temperature of this. But how did you come up with all the handles?
Well, quite a difficulty. So I started it in the book with like just Twitter commentator 1. And I sort of had a little bio for each person, so that it was throughout their book if they were pro Melanie or pro Peter, so that I could just keep an eye on the fact that I wasn't messing around, because that's the kind of thing a copy editor is going to come and get me for. And then I went through and I just made up names off the top of my head, and then went on to Twitter to make sure they weren't actual handles, and of course they absolutely all were. So then had to like make them somehow not be actual handles as much as possibly could. So I hope I've done it, and if there are any actual handles, then I do apologize to the person who is in the book. But yeah, it's hard. And the next book as well has got so many names in. So I put on Facebook like, oh, can I have a name for someone? I think, Chris, you're in the next one.
Hey.
And it's just like finding the right name. But then Fit Watson is in The Ugly Truth, and they've actually used someone with a Newcastle accent for the audiobook for her as a real homage to her, which is amazing. And she's in the next one as well.
Oh, that's so good. Speaking of which, like, so because of the mixed media, the audiobook is going to be awesome,
Oh my goodness, it's so awesome. It's got a full cast and it was absolutely epic. And I got to go and record some of the voices as well, which was
Did
really
you?
good.
Are you in there?
Yes, I'm in it. So I read the first opening article and then I'm a couple of voices as you go into it, which is really good. Like I practiced, I knew I was doing the opening article. So I practiced it and they were like, oh, you're quite good. Let's get you to do this voice and this voice. And I was like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing now. It was really good fun. And also I've now put in the next one a child of the age of my daughter so that she can come and read. Hopefully. So, I'm just like, who can I get to come and be on the voices? Because they just like my editors on there as well, because there's so many voices. Obviously the main characters are all really professional, big name people, but there's just so many other voices of like the Twitter and headlines and things. So they've just anybody who could come into the studio and record, they were getting in. So it was brilliant.
That's amazing.
Awesome.
Did you do an accent?
No, I can't do an accent to save my life. I won't even try because I would just offend everybody.
So I have a credit saved aside for this. Thursday can't come quick enough now. I am so excited now.
Oh, thank you. Actually, I listened to it when it came out. Actually, it's already out. The audiobook and ebooks are out.
Oh, is
so
it?
I listened to it and I was surprised how much I enjoyed it, just because I'd obviously knew what was going to happen quite a lot. I knew a lot of it word for word, but just I think the cast really brought it to life and it had lots of different sounds as well. So different sounds for different parts of the book, like little pings for the things. Yeah, it was really exciting to go along to.
Oh, I can imagine. I suppose like when they get handed a manuscript like this, the audio producers, they're like, oh, we can have some fun with this.
Yeah, I think so. I think Gray is the guy, Gray Everly is the producer who was amazing. But I think he broke into a bit of a sweat just looking at how many characters there were in it. And I do feel sorry for him because the next one's got even more. And my one takeaway from actually reading the voice is more full stops in my sentences because I was like, oh my God, how long is this sentence going on? If I've got to carry on reading, you can't draw breath. So I feel sorry for all the people who did have to narrate the book.
Oh, that's so mega. And this is the first Elsie North book, isn't it?
Yes, it is the first Elsie North. Yes.
So when I got to, so after I'd read it, there's a little bit about Elsie North, and it says Elsie North is writing her next her second book, and I'm like, hang on a minute, this is like because you're prolific. Your work rate is absolutely insane. So what's it like to step sort of like into like a second version of yourself almost?
Yeah, it's really exciting. I'm so happy. So yeah, I've got two brands now, Laura North and Elsie North, which is just great. It just means that I can work, I can publish at the rate which really suits me to work at. I mean, saying that, the last 3 months have meant like working flat out at the weekends. It has been a bit insane because lots of things have come in at the same time, but it's just getting to a point where it's evening out a bit now, and I can just see a future where I can deliver one Elsie North book and then one Laura North book and just keep going, hopefully, until I collapse in a heap.
No, amazing. I love that. And I love that because this I'm sure this has got, like you mentioned before, like a breakout potential, like this has got breakout potential.
But I didn't mention it. I think you did. I would never.
Oh, I did. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, sorry. I did.
I hope so, but I wouldn't want to say that.
Do you know why I did? It's because I'd immediately because it's right next to me, listeners. The book is right next to me. And it's got the breakout book club thriller of 2023, which I totally agree with. But so when you were mentioning that you were working on a book club book, I hadn't, like, I don't really know what that means. Do you know what I mean?
I actually didn't know I was writing a book club thriller until I saw the announcement in the bookseller that told me I was writing a book club thriller. So I just wrote this book that was about celebrities, and I used to have quite a big obsession with celebrities. I'm still quite interested in them, and I just love the idea that of the people we see in the media, like we put them on these big pedestals and then we like throw rocks at them and try and knock them down again, but they're just normal people with kids that poo in their nappies, and they have to go to the shop and buy toilet roll. They're not gods. They still have to do all the same things that we have to do. They still have all the same issues that we all have, just just on a different scale, I imagine. And I'm always just really fascinated in the persona we see versus what they probably are like behind the scenes. So it was absolutely so much fun to write that. I can't even remember the question. I've just gone off on my passion.
The book club thriller. Yes. Yeah. What's a book club thriller? What is
so, as I understand it, a book club thriller is a conversational book. So it's got elements of a thriller in it, obviously, and it's a book where you close the book and then you immediately want to turn to someone and start talking to them about what's happened and see what they thought of it. And so the whole concept of you save Melanie or help Peter is sort of really lends itself to that sort of genre, as I understand it. But I'm not an expert. I just write the books. Right. So someone else markets them.
So it's kind of like almost a genre unto itself in a way.
Yes, I think so.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Have you ever been to a book club?
I went to I've been to a few book clubs. I went to one and talked about one of my books, which was really interesting to hear what people thought of it and like sort of ask me questions. That's a really great thing to do as an author, because it really sort of, you feel quite validated, I think, with sort of the fact that you wrote a book and people are reading it. And then I joined a book club in the village next to mine, and the woman made us put on special things on our feet so we didn't make muddy footprints, like, you know, those blue shoe covers. And she had like a set of rules, and I do think that book clubs have to be really quite strictly run, otherwise you do never talk about the book. But I was a little bit scared and I just ran for my life. I didn't go back.
I joined one in an effort to not read as much crime, or to sort of expand my horizons a little bit. And I sort of organized one with people from my work, but it's mainly go to the pub, chat about the book for like 2 minutes, and then gossip. But I went to my first book club last week, and it was a proper grown-up book. And they like explored the themes and stuff. And you know, when you're not quite prepared for how grown-up it is. So they were like, did anyone else notice this theme about the Dante's Circle of Hell or something? I was like, not now. I just like the book. So I felt out of my depth a little bit, but I really enjoyed it because it got me thinking more. So I'm gonna like do the next one with more thinking head on.
A few more notes. But how do you find the time to read the book club book at the same time as reading all the other books that we read? Like, I don't have time to read a book that maybe not is for me at the moment.
No, that is hard, isn't it? I think you just have to scale back and know your limits. It's hard though. And it kind of leads me on to time management. And because you asked Stuart McBride last week about social media use,
yes,
and obviously
fascinated me that he doesn't go on it, but his publicist does his Facebook.
Yeah.
I messaged all my friends. I was like, he is on it, but he doesn't do it. Like, what are we all doing? We're a bunch of mugs.
Do you think it's a necessary evil of being an author?
Oh, I don't know, because I think it depends what mood you catch me in. Because interestingly, I was giving some advice to one of my mentees who's just got a book deal, and she was talking about hiring a publicist, and I was like, oh, don't spend your own money on that kind of thing. But you know what you can be doing is building your brand, so being on social media and, you know, interacting with authors, promoting them, so that when it comes to you needing to be promoted, you know, you've got a group of people who are there to support you, and that kind of thing can make such a difference. But then I very quickly said, oh no, but don't do that if you don't want to. Like, it's not a job. Like, you've got a full-time job, you don't need to be doing this as well. Like, only do it if you really want to. And I think that's the thing. I go through little stages of feeling like I should be doing it versus, oh, I'll just do it for fun. And yeah, it's a very strange relationship, I think, social media. I had a little go on TikTok and I went viral with this ridiculous video. I got 600,000 views on this video, but I sold no books. So that just proved to me that it was a complete waste of my time. So I now don't go on TikTok. So yeah, I think it shouldn't be considered a necessary evil. I think what it is a wonderful book talk, and social media can be a wonderful place to interact with fellow authors and to feel like you're not alone in that middle dip, that 30,000 word point where you suddenly worry that you've written something terrible and you need to stop and write something else, that we all go through. And knowing that there are other people going through it just makes such a difference. So I think that for me is what social media should be about. And I think the concept of trying to promote yourself is hard because I think of all the people who follow me are just like you guys and my mates. And so I don't need to tell you that I've got a book coming out every single day because hopefully you know and you've read it. So it's a weird one. Love, hate and all that, I think.
I think that's a brilliant answer, and one that I think will help a lot of people, because it is daunting. Like, and I know that, like, so I think I've been on sorry.
Twitch.
Yes, I think I've been on Twitter for it's like 12 years, I think, something like that. And when you look at it like that, the whole thing has been about books and promoting and doing everything possible, to make it work, that kind of thing. And it's like, without that, it's only in the last year or so that it's been like, this is a safe place for my friends now, because the book tribe is so lovely. Everyone is so supportive and so kind, and it just, like you say, it just feels like a big friend space now, and also like a help group and a therapy session and all that kind of stuff. And every now and then I do that lovely go on there and I go through who I'm following and go like, can I get rid of them? You know what I mean? Like, not because I want to get rid of people, but like, just so that I can like really cleanse that timeline to make sure it's just like people I really sort of gel with and vibe with, and people who I'm really lucky that read my books. You know what I mean? Like, it's,
I
can curate that, can't you? I know people get very upset about social media, but you can curate it so that I suppose it is an echo chamber, isn't it?
It is, no, completely. And I think you're right. Like, I know it's supposed to be quite a toxic place, but all I see is the lovely book love, and I don't ever see the toxicity. What about you, Chris? Are you going to be on there a bit more when you go full-time author? Do you think you'll be hanging out a bit more with us lot?
I sort of fallen a little bit out of love with it because of how, like, it seems to be like the people that I follow I don't really see anymore because everyone's buying blue ticks, so they get and people are doing, like, the people with the blue ticks are doing like longer things, and so it fills up with loads of stuff that I'm not really interested in. So I think maybe, Rob, it might be that I do what you do and have a look at
I just bin people, and I'm like, I'm not even, and also like if they've not tweeted in 6 months or something, like, well, it's gone. Like, but see you later. Although, no, every now and then I'm like, then there's a triumphant return, like, I'm back, like, yay, that kind of thing. But I must say though that, like, I will never get anything done if I didn't have a limiter on it. So I have like social media limiter that I'm not allowed on. Like, I've set it up on my computer here. It literally won't let me on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or anything like that. Between the hours of 10 and 4 every day. So I'm only allowed on between 9 and 10 in the morning and 4 o'clock onwards. So
I love that you've got like almost like a mum for your computer telling you that you're not allowed on it. Technology ban for Rob Parker.
And when I click on it, like, because sometimes your hand just does it, like, that's what I bang, and then like it flashes up like no, like little slap wrist, like no, and it's really helped my productivity. Really. So
what's this called? How do I get a naughty mum on my computer to turn me off?
It's the one that I use is what's it called? Let me have a look in the window.
Don't Google naughty mum though.
Yes, those websites are also banned as well, Chris. So
okay.
It's
just between 10 and 4.
Just between 10 and 4. That's fine. We can go crazy on naughty mum stuff. Like, so where am I going with this? Like, stop.
Let's do it now.
I am going to go very red in any second.
Chris, quick.
Yeah. Segue. Serious question. Right. The cult of celebrity is something that you take dead aim at here. And it's amazing how on, I know I've mentioned the word topical before, but how dead on this is with what's going on, because celebrity comes out of absolutely nowhere these days, doesn't it? Like someone becomes, an overnight sensation for very, very little, it seems, and that's not me being a negative, but it's just amazing that celebrity is something that like when I do school visits and stuff, people want to be famous. Yeah. I'm like, well, what do you want to be famous for? Like, I don't know. Like,
nothing. I know you don't need to be anymore. That's what's scary.
That's true. But it felt so real and so part of what you see just every day. Like, certainly when you were writing those tabloid headlines, like, it was like, oh God, you see that all the time, like, so how your research process for this,
Well, my research was about a decade of my life reading Hello magazine and Heat. So, really great. No, I didn't. I grew up with it, and I grew up with this obsession. And for me, like, it's not based on any one particular celebrity. I know Britney Spears is often sort of the one that is compared to because of the father-daughter relationship, but it's not based on her. It's not based on any one particular celebrity, but there are stories that I have remembered throughout my life that I've read about that have creeped in. Like, there's a story about Paris Hilton, and there's a story about Cheryl Cole, and all these celebrity stories that I've always just been in the back of my mind. I just kind of shoehorned in. In fact, I wished I'd saved some back for the next book, really, but I didn't really think about the next book. But I think it's just an obsession, and I think probably what I did for research is I watched quite a few Netflix documentaries about anything, really, just to get a sense of that narrator voice and how they sort of summarize things at the start, and then you go into someone else saying something. So trying to get that right, for me, I think, was where I did the most research. I think from a celebrity perspective, I just felt like I was already there. Like, the concept that a magazine will one week call a woman skinny and the next week say, well, what, she needs to go on a diet. It's mad. And even yesterday I had to do the dreaded, oh mum, I've got food tech tomorrow, dash to the supermarket at 5 o'clock on Sunday evening. And I just saw one of the headlines was about Stacey Solomon being mum shamed. And I just thought, last week she just had a baby and everyone was really happy for her. And this week, suddenly she's a rubbish mum. And that's exactly what it is. It's just throwing mud and roses at people constantly.
What a line that is. Chucking mud and roses at people.
That just came out of nowhere.
It's such a good. No, but you're so right. It is like that. Yeah. The fickle nature of all of this stuff. And what do you? I mean, like, again, another thing that you've is pilloried a word? Pilloried?
Well, if it is, can you tell me what it means?
I don't even know what it means now.
Okay, that was good. I don't know.
Well, pilloried, like, so you've taken aim at it, and I don't know. Oh dear, what is going on with me tonight? I'm so sorry. Online, true crime documentaries, and how that has, I mean, if we could go into serious territory, it's just with what happened recently with the whole Nicola Bulley case, and I mean, it's just shocking how everyone became an expert in sort of like, I've seen a documentary that's a little bit like this, and the police should be looking over here, and this kind of stuff, and it's frightening.
Yeah, it's horrific how quickly the commentary changed to be about her past and some of her problems that were then raked over it. And it's just, it's a very horrible component. But you say I take aim, and I just want to be clear that I still quite like celebrities and celebrity news. But
I didn't mean, I mean the culture and the treatment because you represent so accurately is what I mean.
And the thing is, like, these magazines wouldn't exist if we didn't buy them and we weren't interested. What's weird, what's messed up is our society and how obsessed we are with ordinary people. That's what I can't get my head around, because even I'm obsessed with them, and I don't really know why.
I know what you mean. Sorry, I should rephrase that.
No, I didn't mean to tell you off. Ross.
No, it's quite because I think it's such an important thing. Because recently here we had so I live in a little village in Warrington, and just over the fields behind our house where we walk the dogs is the site of the very tragic murder of the young girl Brianna. So we lived in the village. We live in the village where that happened, and it's obviously, I mean, the village is torn to bits over it, but it was just astonishing because it's a small village. Everyone talks to each other, and everyone knows. So I have to be honest. On the night that it happened, we knew who the accused were. Even now the names aren't in the media, but we knew that evening because everyone was like, has anyone seen they've got a message. Oh, is it right? And pennies dropping like that. But the way that the media span itself inside out that night and that weekend compared to what we could see was happening in real time on our doorsteps was amazing.
Yeah, I think there's a massive difference between obviously what is actually going on and what's portrayed in the media. And one of the things that I learned about in the research was the thing called the money shot from the paparazzi, about this idea that, a photo's worth so much money, but if it's a photo of that celebrity looking drunk, angry, upset, it's more worth more money. And you know what it's like when you're taking, 20 photos on your, like 20 selfies, see which one looks best. You guys might not do that. But then you take one where your eyes are slightly closing and you do look really drunk. If you haven't had a drink, but you can look drunk. And I think that's really what was interesting, this idea that the paparazzi get more money if the celebrity is looking upset. And they are going to look upset when there's 20 paparazzi surrounding them with their cameras pointed in their faces. They are going to be upset. It is going to be scary. And it doesn't matter how much you say, well, they deserve it and they're used to it. If you've got 20 men surrounding you, it doesn't matter what they're doing, it is going to be scary. So it's a weird world.
It really is. So I know I'm going to keep this what's the word, vague, so as to protect my source, but I know someone who works for one of the gossip columns, and they came into the I was in London, being very careful here, met said person at a bar for a drink, and they were shattered. And I said, what's going on? They said, well, it was last night, and I can't remember the name, because it's not it was a soap star had there was his wife had left him, or was having an affair, and the wife was gone, and the paparazzi knew exactly where she was and whose house she was staying at, but they were I nearly said it, Jenna. They said that they were sent to the husband's house, so the guy whose wife had gone, to get that shot at 3 a.m. So they were outside the house at 3 a.m. to get the devastation shot. And I could tell, talking to my associate, that they were crushed, to have to do this, but it's the nature of the thing. And if they weren't there getting that shot,
someone else
would be. So it's frightening, isn't it?
It's a weird one.
Really is. We'll move on to, so just to reset the tone to something else, Pooh Wee Sick and Trumps. There we go. All done. Back in the game.
Okay.
Do you want to play a game now?
Okay, go on then.
Do you know our 1-star game?
I do. I have listened. I do know the 1-star game.
Okay. So I have gone on and found someone that's given you a 1-star review, and then I've gone and looked at what else they have reviewed, and you just have to guess whether the 1-star or 5-star. So the first item is a silicone protective heat mat, which I think is for like straighteners to put, like to rest them on.
Yeah, I got one. Yeah.
Oh, is yours a Ganvol?
No, if it is, I wouldn't know. It's just
1-star or 5-star for the heat mat?
Oh, they've not put anything about it. They've just.
Oh yeah, they've reviewed it as well, but I'll tell you that afterwards.
Oh, I'm not allowed to know what the review is. I just have to say. Oh, so they've given me a 1-star, so I think they've probably gone 5-star on the heat mat.
5-star for the heat mat, okay.
Yeah.
Rob?
I'm going to go 1-star on the heat mat, because I think that it melted. It went straight through onto some antique armoire or something like that, damaged the furniture irreparably.
Now, if you didn't know that this was 1-star or 5-star, based on the sort of headline of the review, what do you think? Okay, but not great or even any good.
No, I definitely think I'd go 1-star.
It is a 1-star. So they thought it was okay, but not great or even any good. Flimsy and not great resistance to heat. It's easy to clean to an extent, but the gaps in the mat collects dust and food. Okay, but looks anyway. Yeah.
Stop cooking with your blinking hair straighteners then.
Yeah. So 1-star. Well done, Rob.
I just got an image of like this person with like a rasher of bacon here, like with the thing like, and then lovely.
Yeah, not hygienic. The second one is a wall mount for a Google One, like an Alexa, but Google's version.
Oh yeah.
So it's like a wall mount to have it on the wall.
Okay. So now I did 5-star and I was wrong, so I'm going to go 5-star again and hope I'm right this time.
I'm going to go 1 star because it keeps getting food in it.
It is another 1 star.
Oh, I
So
should have known.
sorry,
You give
Lauren.
1 stars for things. Maybe you just give 1 stars for everything.
Yeah, this person is
Yeah.
not happy.
This person did not like any book they read.
Oh,
Honestly, it was mostly books, and I had to sort of sift through. This review is in all capital letters.
Yes.
This product is an absolute lie. It does not fit the Generation 1 Google Home Mini, yet the product and description states it does. Lies upon lies. Amazon have been informed to banish this fake product from the pages and for sale. Avoid.
oh, I feel sorry for them. That is annoying.
Yeah. Well,
Your
yeah.
readers, Lauren.
Yes, my unhappy readers.
Yes. Well, it doesn't sound like anything's going to make that particular person very happy at all.
No, it doesn't actually, does it? No, I feel sad
No.
for them.
I might try and invent a food-resistant heat mat for them. Food slides just right off.
Or just general life
oh
advice.
gosh.
Straighten your hair away from where you're eating. Or
Yeah.
just wait until afterwards.
I've got so many questions. Anyway.
Our listeners have had so many questions.
Yes, of course. What have our listeners been saying?
Well, what haven't our listeners been saying? Nikki Smith, I think you know, Lauren, you were
Oh.
Yeah, I saw this question. Was it what if I had to choose one, would it be coffee or chocolate?
yeah, if you could never have either again, which one would you choose?
Nikki is so mean, and she knows they're 2 of my favorite things, so that's why she's done that to me. And I thought about this all day as I was drinking my coffee and eating my chocolate, and I decided that I could live without chocolate, but I couldn't live without coffee, which is
No.
often decaf as well. But I love the hot drink of it, and I don't really drink
Yes.
tea, so I think I'd really miss it. It's like an event for me to have to make a coffee. I get a big cafetiere and sort of pour a bit and have a little milk jug. It's like a little thing. So I think I'd miss that. Whereas chocolate's just
No, I do like that. There is a ritual that's lovely about it. Like
yes, the ritual. That's it. Yeah.
I do like preparing a cup of soup. Strange.
What flavor do you go for?
I usually, if we can get if the brand gets the croutons right, vegetable with croutons is always very good. But I do like a simple broccoli and Stilton as well.
Oh, nice. Okay, then.
Yeah.
Are you a cup of soup slurper, or are you like?
Well, I didn't know that I was, and then I did a podcast record and had one. And I was like, so yes, I am, but I'm a triple seasoner. So I season the powder, then pour the water halfway through, season, and then.
So it's basically a cup of salt, is what you're telling
No,
us.
pepper.
Oh, pepper. Oh, a cup of pepper.
A cup of pepper, powdered hot water. Sorry, not powdered hot.
You're really selling this. 1 star.
I do like it when everyone's in bed. A cup of soup is the most divine.
Heaven.
Yeah,
I'm an unknown noble slurper as well, and I think that it's the problem with when you sit at a desk by yourself all the time, and then you have to go out in public. And I often go and work in the gym cafe nearby, and have noticed that not only do I slurp, but I talk and say the words out loud as I'm writing them, just like a little whisper under my breath. And people do look at me like I'm a bit nuts, and I didn't know I was doing that. But apparently I do.
Really?
Yeah. Obviously, the worst thing is you've got to watch out for the trumps, haven't you, when you're out in public? Like, if you're at your desk by yourself, you're all right. But, suddenly you're out with your headphones on in a cafe, you think, oh, God.
Oh, gosh. So how did you find out that you did that? Was there
The talking? My children told me during homeschool that
it was a lockdown reveal.
It was, yeah. And then now I'm aware of it. I realise it all the time.
Oh, that's lockdown was responsible for the children now knowing how weird I really am.
Yeah, how little you do.
Yeah. Lots of staring out of the window going, Daddy's working. Daddy is working, I promise. What was I going to say? Oh, did you have any more questions, Chris? Because we did, didn't we?
We've got loads, yeah. Kate Galley said, how easy do you find it to swap your thriller writer voice to the other genres you write in?
Well, this was a good question actually, because we haven't talked about it, but I do occasionally dabble in romance.
Of course.
And I wrote a romance actually, thanks to Chris on your NaNoWriMo group. So thank you very much for that. And I think because I'm a massive planner and I plan the book out to an extent that it's scene by scene by scene, and then just write it, I feel like by the time I go to write it, I'm completely immersed in that genre and that story. So for me, it's completely fine, I think, from that perspective. I think if I was a pantser, then I might struggle a little bit more. But also, I don't write like one day one book, one day the next book. I do blocks. So this 3 months I'm writing this book, and then this 3 months I'm writing that book, kind of thing. And then edits come in and throw a big spanner in the works. And that's why I had that image of Fighting Fire that Stephen Keedy asked me a question. I was like, yes, this is what it's like.
Yeah, which I mean, I was going to say your answer fits very nicely onto his. So Stephen Keedy asked, how do you balance out the writing of current books, ideas for new ones, and edits on recent ones? Do you have rules about when to start something new, and how many books ahead are you planning?
Wow.
So I just do whatever the deadline is nearest to me, normally, and get that done, and then move on to the next deadline. So this whole year so far, we're in March, I haven't written anything new at all. I've done 3 sets of structural edits this year. I'm on my 3rd set now for different books that are coming out. And in between, I've had like weeks here and there where I've planned out some ideas for other books. So books, how far ahead am I? So I've got Elsie North Book 3's planning is currently on my wall on post-its ahead of me, and Lauren North's new dabble with Book of Chures book 3 is also in the planning stages as well. So yeah, I'm always sort of know what's coming, and I know what the next one after that's going to be for Lauren North. I fly by the seat of my pants with Elsie North at the moment, but yeah.
This is amazing, because forgive me, I completely forgot about the romance side as well. So when you were saying you've got 2 books a year, you've actually got the 3rd.
Well, I am now currently not writing romances. So I had a romance out in January called Picture Perfect, and then I'm now not writing anymore at the moment. I'm focused on the Lauren North and Elsie North brands. I don't know if I'm going to have a time slot to write another romance at the moment, but you never know. NaNoWriMo.
Amazing.
Yeah, it rolls around.
Yeah, because I've mentioned this before, that and I will say it again to you. I think you're going to be one of the biggest names in this business, because your work is so good, and you are working so hard that, like, yeah, I don't actually have a doubt about it. So,
thanks.
Yeah.
I think it's hard work. I think that it's really important, isn't it? You just have to keep turning up every day and working. Yes. And I think that's what you guys do as well. And I would say the same to both of you, in fact, because I've read your books, and I would say exactly the same, that we're just people who turn up, and we work in the evenings, and we work at weekends, and we just keep going relentlessly. And I think that eventually will pay off, I hope. Keeping my fingers crossed.
That is an example of what we were talking about before, about the boxing world, the writing world, the writing world, both the writing world. Everyone has each other's backs, and they're welcoming of like new voices. Like, I want to read everyone's books. Like anyone who's ever wanted to write, I want to read them.
I've got a real problem with that, because people ask me if I can read, and I'm like, yeah, send it to me, knowing, even though as I'm saying it, I'm like, I've got no time to read at all at the moment. But yeah, I'll give it to me, love it. So yeah, it's a hard one.
Which leads us nicely onto what are you reading right now?
What am I reading? Oh my goodness, guys, I'm reading the best book. I just finished it. In fact, it's called The Trap, and it's by Catherine Ryan Howard, who is one of my favorite authors. And she's just moved to Transworld. And I've had that information under my hat for some time, but wasn't allowed to say anything. But it's now official because her cover's on Amazon, and her editor is my editor. And so I got a very early proof of The Trap, and it is
nice.
I mean, I just had my heart in my mouth for every single page I was reading it. It was just absolutely a gut-punching thriller. I just couldn't rave about it anymore. So I'm so glad you asked me that, as I was I've just finished it. What about you guys? What are you reading?
Chris?
I am reading, I don't know if it sounds right in my accent, but Bleeding Heart Yard. by Ellie Griffiths, which I'm
Oh,
sure
yeah.
sounds more normal when either of you two would say it. It's got one of you say it?
Bleeding Heart Yard.
Yeah, there you go.
Actually, you have to say it quite slowly, actually, don't you?
Yeah, and it's like the sounds in words that she seems to have put in that title to like trip me up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just for you, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she had me in mind. But yeah, I'm halfway into it, and it's just Ellie Griffiths knows what she's doing, doesn't she? And
Oh yeah,
it's
100%.
Yeah.
quality.
Outstanding.
Yeah, characters are really good. What about you,
What-
Rob?
I just got sent this bad boy,
Ooh, yes.
which is Fearless by
Ooh.
M.W. Craven. This is
Oh,
his-
amazing.
Yeah, and it is one nice squeal-inducing
beautiful.
proof. Yeah, it is a beaut, actually. This is his new Ben Koenig
Oh.
book, which is a new character that is going to be absolutely gigantic, it seems, this summer. I've read one page and I was like, yeah, this is my jam. This is absolutely my
Aw.
jam. I'm going to really dig this. So I'm really excited. And I'm also really excited for Mike because he's a really good guy. So it's all lovely. It's all gravy.
Amazing.
Can we ask, Lauren, what is next for you?
What's next for me? So obviously The Ugly Truth is out on Thursday. That's the big next for me. And I'm going to go and see it in the supermarkets, which is very exciting. And then I've got 2 books out as Lauren North in May and July. Which is very exciting.
Wow.
And that's with Bookouture. So I'm really excited. I've always wanted to work with them and they are really fantastic. So that's exciting. And then, yeah, LC North book 2 is coming next year. So yeah, really exciting. So at the moment, I'm doing the edits for LC North book 2 and just absolutely love it as much as The Ugly Truth. In fact, it's maybe slightly more fun and maybe not quite so serious. So, but it's all mixed media again. Absolutely love the mixed media. So,
it's so cool. Honestly, what a 12 months ahead of you as well.
Yeah, it's slightly busy, isn't it? I keep having little palpitations.
But if you include like the romance that came out in January, that'll be what, like 15 months and 5 books.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, I've got ambitions to have a 3rd Lauren North book out this year, but we'll see. I've got ambition versus what's actually possible because I wrote this planning schedule. So I've just moved agents actually. So I wrote a planning schedule of like, this is what my year of 2023 is going to look like. And I daren't even open it to see how far behind I am because I hadn't quite factored in the structural edits. So I think I should have written about 3 books by now and I'm just still doing structural edits. So yes.
Absolutely incredible. Well, as we talked about it, but there's no one that works harder than you.
So thanks. I would say you guys do. But
no, but it's like it is so impressive the way you go about this. And yeah, this is the start. I'm holding up The Ugly Truth now, listeners. This is a blockbuster start to what is going to be a massive year for Lauren North. So I love this book so much. Everyone else, you're going to love this book so much. Go out and buy it in your droves this Thursday.
Yes, please.
Yeah, it's superb.
Amazing, thank you.
It really is. I read it last year because you gave me one at Harrogate.
Yeah, that was so exciting to have proofs at Harrogate. That was like a real dream for me. Just that was a dream.
Yeah,
It come true.
I absolutely loved it, and I echo everything Rob said. It's going to be massive.
Oh, thank you.
Get down to your supermarkets on Thursday.
Yes, exciting. Just Asda and Sainsbury's, I should say. Not just. It's in Asda and Sainsbury's.
I know. I hear that. Absolutely incredible.
That's amazing. Well, here, thank you so much for your time this evening. It's been a treat, like we knew it would be.
Oh, thank you so much. I just thought Stuart McBride last week, by the way, was so funny. He was like, I want him to be my dad. He's amazing. He was just like, just so funny and sweary and likes post-it notes. So I was like, oh, I think you're my person.
Yeah.
So if I ever get to meet him, like at Harrogate, I'm going to go up and be like, we are the same person. Be my friend. And then he's going to run away.
He was a lovely, lovely man.
He really is.
Yeah, really, really cool.
Have you met him?
No. That was the first time we'd ever spoken.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think before we pressed record though on the, or before we started recording, like we knew it was like just the chat beforehand, like, yeah, this is going to be okay. This one.
Yeah, I think you get like, and this idea that because someone's has had so many books out and has been that prolific and in the industry, that they're going to be maybe a bit stuffy. And I had like this idea that he was going to be that way, and it blew me out the water, and I've almost like wanted to apologize to him for ever thinking that he was a bit stuffy. But yeah, like I said, he's my new favorite person now.
He also said he'd love to go for a beer at some point, so he is like, he's a cool, down to earth, nice guy.
And you can come along.
Coming on next. Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Coming on next, that's a really good question, and one that I can answer. We've got, at the end of the month, DV Bishop.
Oh, cool.
And then Ellie Griffiths. So quite nice.
Amazing.
Quite nice next two.
Really
It's just keep coming.
Yes, exciting. Oh, thanks, guys. I really was a bit worried about this because I don't think I'm as funny as Stuart. Well, all your guests are so funny, and I'm not that funny.
I retract those statements. Please,
yes,
retract them immediately. No, it's been great to hang out with you, and thanks so much for coming on.
I hope I didn't say anything stupid.
No, I did that. It's fine. I always cover that. Yeah, hand signals and all sorts. And as well, everyone, do go and listen to the In Suspense podcast.
Yes, of course. Yeah, In Suspense. Yeah.
Get yourselves over there.
It's good. It's really good.
It is very good.
I mean, I don't like to say, but we are slightly more organised. But we have a topic.
Yes. Yeah.
We've got a schedule. We know who our guests are for like half a year ahead. Actually, you guys probably do as well, in fact.
Yes, Chris, just take care of that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, all the very best for Thursday.
Thank you. Thanks so much, guys.
We'll speak to you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.